Warning. This video contains the following triggers: mental distress, flashing images, hallucinations, and loud noises. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello, my name is James and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is the first vlog style video I've done in a hot minute, but I just wanted to get on and actually give a bit of context and a bit of explanation behind the story I posted yesterday. So without further ado, let's get into it. So basically what today's video is going to be about is just going to be going into deeper detail about mine and my friend's experience yesterday, how we felt, and just kind of providing context on the story. I know that it was kind of confusing, having to read it and be like, what the fuck is going on here? But yeah, context. Yeah. So the whole ordeal actually started out pretty normally. I had taken a trip down to Reading to be part of a Pride event that Nationwide was showing a video of me for. I did a collaborative video with Nationwide about what it's like, being homeless and gay. So they invited me down to go to Reading Pride, and we did, and we had a load of fun. But what ended up happening is at the end of the event, when everyone was going home, me and my friend were going to get on a train from Reading all the way back to Manchester. What actually ended up happening was our train was delayed for 10 hours in Birmingham. So we got to Birmingham about 11 p.m. and we were supposed to be stuck in the train station for the next 10 hours. No food, no water, no money, completely fucking broke, stuck in Birmingham. What actually ended up happening was we managed to get a hotel. We were still stranded in Birmingham, but we were in a hotel this time. We did manage to get a hotel. We stayed in a dingy little travel lodge. I can't actually remember where it was because I could not for the life of me navigate to this bloody hotel. So we got to this hotel and we went inside and we booked in, and it was great. We went up to our room, we got undressed, we had a bit of a cry because it was very stressful being stranded in Birmingham. It's Birmingham, for fuck's sake. But we got all booked in and we went up to our room, we had a little cry, and we were sat in the window just looking out because we were not tired enough to sleep. And I was having a smoke, I know, against the rules, but I was having a smoke, and we were just commenting on this block of apartments, really nice looking apartments that were across from our hotel. And there was this little paved garden area on the bottom. It was fully bricked up. There were bike racks, there was a fountain, it was gorgeous. And it was just really nice to look at. It was really peaceful. And obviously as it got later into the night, it started feeling a bit weird. All of all the lights in the flats went off except for one of them, just one, in someone's dining room all night. And this obviously there's people filtered out of the area, there were no more people in the area, and the fountain was switched off. It just kind of felt eerie and sad. But I imagine that's what all cities and towns feel like when they're empty. I know full well Bury feels really, really weird when everything is closed. That's why there's a 24-hour Tesco. So basically that's everything that happened with the hotel. It was very boring, it was kind of depressing. Eerie, weird apartments, but they looked really nice. We did discover in the morning that they were £950 a month, which was what? It was absolutely maddening, but not the point. So we got up the next morning at about 10:30 in the morning. We got up, we packed up, we left the train station because we were supposed to get on a train. I think it was at 11:57, way back to Manchester, and that was from Birmingham New Street train station, which if you've been there, it's kind of fancy. There's lots of shops and restaurants, and the actual train station itself is underground, which I didn't explain in the video. But yeah, we went to Birmingham New Street and we went to go get on the train to Manchester Piccadilly via Stoke-on-Trent. We got there, got on our train, and it was completely packed. So we got on this train, and about 2 stops after is the stop Stafford, UK, located in Staffordshire. And we were like, okay, yeah, we'll get on this. We'll get off here and we'll just wait for a new train. I don't know why I thought this, but I thought we were in Stoke-on-Trent. We weren't. We were, in fact, 2 stops away from Stoke-on-Trent. But we got off and we went and we sat down, and at the beginning, like when we arrived, everything was normal. Like it felt normal, like everything was fine. You know, like there was a cafe open, people were busy running around doing train stuff. And we sat down next to some guy who didn't look at us the entire time, and I want to specify that the entire day we looked like this. Like, this is what we looked like all fucking day. And even on the train to Stafford, a lady asked, hey, what's with the costumes? And we told her we were at a Pride event yesterday, we have nothing else to change into. But yeah, we got off. Nobody, the entire time we were in Stafford, nobody looked at us except for the child mentioned in the story. And obviously that child wasn't actually a monster, but she had a real weird smile and a really weird vibe about her. But yeah. So, like I was saying, we got into Stafford, we sat down, everything was normal, people were bustling, doing train stuff, there was a cafe, and we'd noticed a train actually passing, I say passing, people were getting off a train on the aforementioned abandoned platform. We noticed people getting off on there, we saw people walking about, and we were like, oh, okay, cool. So we didn't pay much attention to it for about 10-20 minutes. We were listening to music, we were having fun, we were eating snacks, we were talking about Haribo jelly babies. And we were just chilling, and then I decided I was going to have a look around, see if there was anywhere I can go and smoke. And I was having a gander, and I clocked the platform that was obviously previously in use. And I was like, hey, friend, that platform's abandoned. And she was like, what? And I was like, the platform that was just in use just now, it's completely abandoned. It was covered in ivy, the departure screen wasn't working, and it just looked so run down and sad. Turns out that platform has actually been abandoned. It's not in use for passenger trains anymore, it's just in use for cargo trains. And I believe that is because they closed a line, they closed a train line down that just so happened to connect with that exact platform. So now it's just used for things like freight trains and cargo trains. And we did we did some Googling, we did some researching, and we found out why we found the train station to be so eerie and weird. It turns out there were 2 accidents, one in the 1990s and one in maybe 1960s, I'm not sure, but there were 2 accidents, 2 train collisions that happened multiple years apart, and in both of them at least one person died and upwards of 20-30 people were injured, which I thought was absolutely mad. In one of them, it was an off-duty train colliding with a passenger train, which killed the driver and injured 36 patrons, and it was, I think that was the one in the 90s. And then there was another incident where, again, it was a freight train carrying liquid carbon dioxide, I think, colliding with another passenger train, which killed the driver of the passenger train, injured 22 patrons of the train. So, that's why it was probably, it kind of had this eerie feeling about it. Ghosts. As for the rundown platform, going back to that, from a little tangent, because it looks so abandoned because, well, it is, the departure screen isn't working because it's from 1964, and it's covered in ivy because it's only used for cargo, that's it. As for the other train patrons, the other people in the train station, we noticed that a lot of the people kind of looked copy-pasted. A lot of people wearing the exact same outfits, a lot of people sounded the same, and it wasn't massively busy, but there were enough people as to where you would expect a little bit of noise. Not the sounds of a crowd in Manchester on a Saturday, because that's what we heard. It sounded like a bustling crowd when it was maybe 20-30 people. And we were all stood on different platforms, mind you. So we were all stood on different platforms, and it sounded like there was this massive bustling crowd. I'm sorry if you can keep seeing it go dark. I'm using my laptop as a backlight. So yeah, it's something like this massive bustling crowd. There weren't that many people, and we noticed when we were looking at people, we couldn't see people talking. Like, it would be people like on the opposite platform, like facing in our general direction, and we couldn't see them moving their lips, and yet loud noises from everywhere. And we know it definitely wasn't coming over the speakers, because the tannoy had this awful screeching sound on it, or at least that's how it sounded to me. I don't know if my friend heard it that way. It sounded like this awful screeching every time the tannoy came on. Moving on to the staff. The staff were terrifying. It was like one very specific guy. I saw two, maybe three staff members. No, yeah, I saw three staff members. One who was clearly like a cleaning lady, and two which were patrolling the platforms. And they were yelling at people, like full on, like, "Can you stay behind the line, please?" Like, sir, please. I'm sat on a bench. But yeah, no, like these like employees were full on yelling at people and being like really aggressive. And none of the patrons were listening to them, which, you know, kind of explains how violent and scary they sounded. But I think the weirdest part about, you know, the patrons and, you know, the staff is that none of them, not one of them, looked at me. They didn't make eye contact. They didn't speak to us. They didn't acknowledge us. In fact, the only two people that acknowledged us was that child that I mentioned and the cleaning lady who said she liked my dress. And I had to thank her for actually speaking to me, because I was honestly worried that I was like hallucinating or having a paranoid delusion, because you know, I struggle a lot with my mental health. I am pretty prone to visual and auditory hallucinations. Mostly I think it's because I don't get a lot of sleep and I live alone, so my brain's like, ooh, hallucination. It's nothing like scary or anything like that. Like I usually spot like butterflies or small animals. Like one of my main hallucination things that I get is like I get it looks like a little black fish. You know those little goldfish with bulbous eyes? Here, I'll show one right here. But it's like that, but like black. And I just see them everywhere, and it makes me so happy to see these little fish. But anyway, not the point. I thought I was, I don't know, having a like mental breakdown or something, but I was just very happy that this lady spoke to me. I'm gonna move on to the child now. So, this kid scared the crap out of me and my friend, whose name I said earlier and we'll have to bleep out. She scared the crap out of us. So basically it was her and her mum, and they were knelt down in front of the seats in front of us. And so they were just knelt down, and they had this box with a balloon in it, and this mum opened the box and this balloon came flying out, and I thought it was going to fly away. I was really worried that this balloon was going to fly away, so I went to grab the balloon so that it wouldn't fly away. And this child gave me the dirtiest look, like full on rage face at me, like, I was just trying to help you not lose your balloon, child, please. And so this was actually not very long before our train arrived. It was about 5 minutes before our train arrived, and my friend only told me when we got on the train, because I wasn't paying attention by this point. I was like, no, it's fine, I'll ignore it, I'll ignore the child. That when we were getting on the train, this child flashed like a really eerie, wide grin at us, and I have no idea what it looked like. Ooh. My friend was the one that described what it looked like, and they described it as like, do you know the back rooms smiling entities? Yeah, one of those. They described it as one of those, and he stopped saying she, for fuck's sake. So we ended up getting on the train about a half hour after it was supposed to be due. I think it was half an hour, maybe 20 minutes after it was supposed to be due. It was 20 minutes late, and the entire time I was on the platform, I had like no signal. So I ended up writing the story while I was on the train back to Manchester. The entire train ride back to Manchester felt like it was about half an hour. It was supposed to be an hour and a half. It felt like there was a jump in time when we were on the train. We still feel weird up to this point. It felt like there was a jump in time from about Stoke-on-Trent to Manchester Piccadilly, because that was supposed to be an hour-and-a-half train ride. It felt like 20 minutes. Where did all the time go? Like, when we looked, it had in fact been an hour and a half. Like, when we checked the time, because it was 3 in the afternoon by that point. But, like, because we were actually sat down the entire train, like, we were sat on the floor between first class and coach, because there were no seats, so we were sat on the floor between first class and coach. And normally that would feel unreasonably long, because you're sat on the floor outside of a toilet on a moving train, and you're not enjoying yourself, you just kind of sat on the floor. So we were sat there, and we don't know what happened. Time just went. It's gone. Bye-bye. Lost that hour and a half of my life, haven't I? I'm just adding this in post, because I realised I forgot to tell you in the video. But while we were there, 2 trains arrived in the station, and then for the entire time we were still on the station, they didn't leave. And we were there for like just over an hour. Like, they both arrived pretty early on when we arrived, and then they didn't leave, like, they didn't go anywhere, and they were all, like, they were both full of passengers. It was very weird. It was just very weird to notice, but I completely forgot to add that in the video. But, yeah, that's the story, basically. We still feel quite odd about being back home. It does kind of feel like we're stuck in fractured reality and time is meaningless, but that honestly might just be my frankly awful mental health. I woke up at 5 today, so whoa, really meeting those goals there, James. Well done, well done. So yeah, that's the story. It's really, actually, when you explain it, rather sad, but it felt weird to us. It still kind of feels weird. Obviously the story was played up for dramatic effect. It was a spooky story based on the experience that we actually had. That was the actual experience that we had. You know, it's cool, it's fun, it's dandy. I am going to go and edit this video and eat 14 million cheesy Wotsits and drink a full gallon of pumpkin spiced coffee. So yeah, ta-ta. It was good to speak to you. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.